Hey there, coding wizards. Are you ready to elevate your CSS game? In today's video, we're diving deep into advanced CSS selectors that every web developer should know. Whether you're looking to write cleaner code, target specific elements like a pro, or unlock hidden design potential, this video is packed with practical tips and tricks. So grab your favorite beverage, and let's make some magic with CSS. As obvious, we have to start with a demo HTML and CSS file. First of all, we will discuss the group selector. To understand it better, let's create a few headings. I'll use 3 of the top heading tags for variation. After completing these, move on to the CSS part. Group selectors targets multiple selectors at once, and it's really easy to use. How? Just place each identifier separated with comma, and they all be grouped together. Here, in our example, we have grouped the 3 heading tags and set a common font and blue text color for them. Next, we will see the use of attribute selector. This one is very useful. An attribute selector targets all elements with a specific attribute. Either you can target an element with specific attribute, or you can isolate specific one using comparison of attribute values. In our example, we have placed 3 anchor tags, each with different ref values. We will use ref attribute to identify different links and style them accordingly. These selectors are super handy for targeting specific links, like external links, email links, or links to specific file types. Efficient and elegant, right? The asterisk targets all links containing value in the ref, and the caret sign targets links starting with mail to or whatever you compare. Finally, we have the $sign, which is used to compare the value in the end of the URL or ref target. Here we can use it to look out for .com value. We can also use the attribute selector to target elements with specific attributes. Such selectors are known as universal attribute selector. Here we can add another anchor tag with a new attribute called target. I hope you know its use. The target attribute is used to specify the nature of onward click operation. In simple words, it will determine how the clicked link will open. A blank value means a new page will open. So to target this attribute, we can simply look out for target and style accordingly, without any comparison. Next, we will see a very common CSS selector. We all know it, use it, and it's very handy for styling components. It's the hover selector. To demonstrate this, we can use a button, style the button with hover selector. Let's make its background yellow or whatever color you like. I think we can also make it big on hover. This is just an example. Don't troll me for bad UI design. I know it looks kind of antique, yet it serves the purpose quite well. I hope you have learned these CSS selectors so far. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up and please subscribe. Now we will learn about the pseudo selectors. First, we will look on the child selectors. We have the nth-child selectors and a few more, although the use and implication are quite same. So we will look example of a list where we will target the even and odd child. This type of selector is very useful to decorate and style list or table UI. In our example, we have used different background color for even and odd child elements. You could do a lot more with this selector. Give them totally different look, even change their decoration if you like. Combination selector is another useful and interesting selector. We can use it to target child element of specific types. Usually 2 of these selectors are common in styling. These are the plus and greater than signs. The greater than sign is used to target all the child of specific type. In simple words, the greater than combinator targets direct children only, while plus targets the next sibling. This gives you precise control over styling. Here in our example, we have a parent div element with 3 children. The first 2 are paragraph tags, and the third one is a span tag. We can target the p tags as child to the parent div. Also, we can target the span tag as only direct child to the p tag. So here's the example. Check it out and write down in comments if you have any query. There is one selector that I missed to discuss earlier. It's the obvious universal CSS selector. This universal CSS selector is denoted by asterisk sign. You can use it to target every element in the page at once. Usually we don't put major decoration in this part. It is used mostly to remove presets of margin and padding from the screen. In our example, I will put a default 20 pixel padding globally. Let's see how does it affect our UI. Did you notice the change? It puts a 20 pixel padding on each individual tag. Our next selector is the pseudo-element selector. Previously, we have discussed the pseudo-selectors like the nth-child selector. This time we will discuss 2 more. These are the before and after selectors. These selectors are useful for adding extra style and decoration around any element. For example, let's create a button and add a thumbs up and thumbs down icon before and after the text. We can do this using direct inclusion in HTML. Yet for demonstration, we will use the before and after CSS selectors. So, let's see how it works. These pseudo-selectors require a content parameter where you can put any value that you want to add in the UI. Usually we keep it blank for extra spacing or set an icon or box for special decoration purposes. Next, we will discuss the negation selector. It is also known as the not selector. The use of not is very rare in actual projects, still it can add some real cool effect in your UI. So, why not give it a try? To test this not selector, we have to create a new list with a few child items. I have placed a class called highlight to one of the child. We will use this to target with negation. In fact, negation will actually ignore the target element and apply the style to the rest. So that's an interesting technique to style everything except the one it targets. Let's see how it's done. In the style section, we have to use not selector with value. Here we will target the highlight class with not. This style will be applied to each child item, except the one with class highlight. Our next selector is the empty CSS selector. It also works in hierarchy, especially in parent-child div arrangement or in lists. We can use empty to target tags with no content in them. It can be helpful to hide the blank boxes and dynamic layout components. First, see the example and try to understand its uses. Here I've placed 2 div elements, one with content and another without anything. Now use the empty selector with div selector to target the empty div. Give it a background color for display and see how it affects our UI. Next, we will discuss the check selectors. As the name suggests, it is used to target the checkbox with checked attribute. You can use this selector to add unique style to the checkbox. It can also be used with other selectors to create more elaborate designs. One important thing to notice here is that you can't change the background color. Instead, you have to set the accent color to change the color of the checkbox. Technically, the background of the checkbox is not visible. That's why the change in background color will not affect the visual. On the other hand, to target the checkbox label, you have to use the plus combinator. The next one is the disabled selector. You can use this selector to target and style buttons and input element marked as disabled. The default style for disabled elements is gray background and little darker text. You can tweak this style using this selector. We will use a disabled button to display the use of this selector. Let's try it out. The first and last child selector is an addition for nth-child selector. These are specially designed to target the first and last child in the hierarchy. Usually we use this selector in list elements. You can also use it to give unique look to the first and last row of a table and so on. Here, I've used the red color for first child and green to color the last child. Check out the implementation and try to understand its practical uses. Next, we will discuss the only child selector. This is a special CSS selector, which can be used to target the only child of a parent element in the entire HTML hierarchy. To show this example, I have placed a parent div tag with a single child. We can now target the paragraph, which is the only child of its parent, to style properly. I know the examples here are not very decorated. Still, it serves the purpose of this tutorial. And if you find anything confusing, then drop a comment. Our next CSS selector is the pseudo-focus selector. This focus selector is used with input elements. We can use it to give unique style to the input tags, especially when it is in focus. It's a useful decoration tool that can make your forms and inputs look modern and beautiful. Let's see this in a working example. One important note here, you have to omit the outline to apply custom style on focus. As you can see, that our style is not working unless we remove the default outline value from the input style. The next one in our series is the target selector. This one is unique. Suppose you have multiple anchors in your web page. It could be a menu item or a move to top button that targets specific portion of the web page. Now, we can use this target selector to give specific style to the targeted section once the link is clicked. Neat, isn't it? In this way, you can change the whole look of the section where the user focus or redirects. See this example to understand its use case. In our example, I've given yellow background color to the target selector. Therefore, when we click on the section one link, it will highlight the section target with yellow color. We can also style the elements using lang selectors. These are the special language parameters that we can target to set unique styles. It's a special case of attribute selectors. See the example and ping me if you have any question. The next selector is the negation with empty selector. We have already seen the use of both the negation and the empty selector. Now check out how we can target the element which are not empty using both these selectors together. Here, we only have to use not and provide the empty selector as its parameter to target the elements having some data. This conjugation can affect many elements together in a single page. Therefore, use it with proper care and conditions. There are a few more selectors that you must know. These are sibling selector. Targets all siblings after a specified element. Root selector root. Targets the root element, useful for defining CSS variables. Custom states with is. Simplifies writing compound selectors. Custom properties with variables. Combine with selectors for advanced theming. With these advanced CSS selectors, you'll write cleaner, more powerful CSS and level up your web design game. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more tips like these. What's your favorite CSS selector? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, keep coding and stay creative. Thanks for watching TechnoSpace.